How do I increase my love for Allah? I'm going to give you a few tips. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just 5 tips on how to increase your love for Allah, so that your love in your heart for Allah guides your actions automatically without even trying. Number 1, since you're all internet savvy? Is that what you say? Yeah. So you go on internet, go on Google and write Allah loves, and see what comes up. You're going to get at least 13 things that Allah loves. Try to work on them. Then type Allah hates. You're going to get a list. Try to work on detaching from them, and watch how your love for Allah will increase. Number 2, increase your regular dhikr. Do you know what dhikr is? Remembrance of Allah. Remembrance of Allah is in the heart and the tongue. Some people say, when they pray, for example, and they recite Quran in their salat, that's called dhikr. Or they say Subhan Rabbil Azim, that's called dhikr. But they don't move their mouth. They just say it with their heart. No, you have to say it with your mouth. Number 1, it's the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and it's an obligation. Just like if you don't swear with your mouth or lie with your mouth, you will not get sinned. It stays in here. Same, if you think of something good, then say it. Dhikr, then it will count. And it's something about the connection between the mouth and the heart, by the way, when you say it to yourself. When you love someone, you always mention them. You always text them. Isn't that correct? You'll call them. You like to see them because you're remembering. How do you remember Allah when you don't see Him or perceive Him? Through these words, dhikr, that are special to Him. Number 3, do your prayers on time as much as you can. You might miss here and there a few prayers doing half an hour later. Try to do them on time. Here's one thing. Get into regular habit as much as you can, if not 100%, 70%, that when the prayer hits, you leave everything you're doing. Wallahi, you'll be more productive if you do leave it and go and pray and come back. Number 1, you re-energize your thought process. You rest. Number 2, you get to move around. Number 3, you feel more organized and in order, rather than rushing and having something on your mind. Number 4, read about Allah's names, who He is, His mercy, His blessings, His forgiveness, what His angels say about Him, and so on. You'll fall in love with His names, and you'll fall in love with some names more than the others. Some people get more of an attachment to some names more than others. And this is how you start to create a relationship with you and Allah. The Google has a lot of information about it. And lastly, number 5, you must recite the Quran every day. The words of Allah is your speech with Allah. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ مِنَ اللَّهِ قَوْلًا. Who is the best than Allah's speech? Recite the Quran. If you don't know how to recite it in Arabic, recite the ones you've memorized. Recite Al-Fatiha. One Sahabi companion, he used to recite Qul huwa Allahu ahad in his prayer. Always, like no matter what he recited Fatiha, another surah, but he'll always say Qul huwa Allahu ahad in the first 2 rakahs. The angel told Rasulullah that you have a companion here who is infatuated, this is halal infatuation, with Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Ask him why. So he comes up, says, who is that keeps reciting Al-Ikhlas? Said, me, Ya Rasulullah. Have I done anything wrong? He goes, no, you've actually hit the nail, in other words. But that can only happen at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, you recited Al-Ikhlas. He says, why? He says, I love it, Ya Rasulullah. I love Al-Ikhlas. I love how it tells me how God is just so one and unique and the only one, and just does something to me. He said, the angel has come to tell me that he loves you for loving Surah Al-Ikhlas. So you will have an attachment to something than the other.